Hey everyone, so today's video is going to be my teen mom story. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in right from the beginning. So when I was 16 years old, me and my now husband got pregnant with our first son, Noah. I remember being at the movie theaters with his family, and there was a CVS next door, and I hadn't had my period in a really long time. And I didn't even know how long it had been because I was so young. I wasn't even like tracking it, and I really had no clue. So I asked him to go to CVS to get a pregnancy test just to be sure. And he did, and it immediately came back positive, like a dark red line. I remember like immediately it was positive. And I was just like staring at it thinking like, oh my God, how am I gonna tell my parents? Like, what is gonna happen? And I walked out of the bathroom and I was like, I just looked at him and he just could tell by my face that it was positive. And so I had to sit through this whole movie. It was 2012. I think that was the movie. It was like about the end of the world or whatever. And the whole movie I'm just like panicking, like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And so fast forward 9 months later, we brought our baby boy Noah into the world. Now when I was pregnant, my husband dropped out of high school so that he could work, and he didn't have anywhere to live. He paid rent on a boat for $50 a month, and he had to canoe out to the boat that was sitting in the intercoastal to sleep on. It was like this little tiny sailboat. It didn't even have like a real bed. It was like a couch that you kind of converted into a bed with cushions. And I remember going out there and canoeing out there with my big pregnant belly. But eventually we moved in with my parents while I was pregnant, into our like garage / makeshift room. And then we had our son Noah, and I remember we were living in Miami at the time, and we were going to be moving a few hours away, me and Noah, to attend a school that had a daycare, so that way I could finish high school, because I did go to a pregnancy school in Miami, but I had to take a 2-hour bus ride there every day when I was pregnant, and it was really rough. It was in a really bad neighborhood, and I really just felt unsafe, and I was worried about bringing my baby there, and we were just surrounded by a lot of bad influences at the time, and I just didn't want my child to be around that. So we decided we were gonna move, and my husband said, okay, well, he was gonna stay here and live with friends or whatever, working until he could get a job up by me. And I remember praying like, please God, if it's your will, I wanted my husband, he was my boyfriend at the time, to come move with us, because I just knew that if we were separated, things were gonna fall apart. So actually at our first doctor's appointment, I think the baby was like a few days old, my husband called me and said he got fired from his job. So when I was in the hospital, he got pulled over visiting me at the hospital, and they told him that he had some tickets that he didn't pay, and so they were going to suspend his license. So they suspended his license that day, and at work he's required to have a driver's license. And so when he was at work, there was a dent in one of the trucks or something, and then so they ran everybody's driver's licenses, and it showed up my husband's was suspended, and this was before he could even tell them. So they just fired him on the spot, which was a blessing in disguise, because he was able to move with us, and he was able to find a job after a few weeks. I was able to go to high school and finish my degree, and then so we lived on our own my last year of high school, me, my husband, and my son, in a little villa, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom villa that was owned by my mom. And she wasn't renting it out at the time, so she was nice enough to let us stay there, which I'm really grateful for. And I was able to finish high school, and I immediately started college. I did a 2-year degree at our community college, and then I went to UCF and got my 4-year degree, and then I still didn't know what I really wanted to do, and I decided to do nursing, and I got a I went to a 1-year BSN program, and then I got me and my husband had gotten married over that time, and I was able to finish my accelerated bachelor's degree in nursing, and then we had our second son, Liam, a year ago, and now I'm working as a nurse, and we have 2 children, 2 boys, and my husband has a great job, and so I'm 25 right now, but we had to work really hard and come a long way. We were on food stamps for a really long time, Medicaid for a really long time. I never did get like money or anything from the government, just the food stamps and the health insurance, which is more than I can ask for, because I'm so grateful that we were able to get that, because I honestly don't know how I would have been able to finish my school and everything without it. I was working as a CNA while I was going to school because I had to pay for daycare for my son, and yeah, it was hard. And it's still not easy, but it's a lot easier now that we have stable jobs and I have 2 bachelor's degrees. My husband's been at his job for like 8 years now, and we're doing really well. So I just wanted to go ahead and give you guys some encouragement that never give up. I didn't think when I was 16 years old that God had a plan for me. I thought that I was just gonna amount to nothing. People were saying, how could you let your daughter get pregnant? And they were blaming my parents. And I'm so lucky that my parents were always supportive of me, no matter what. They never kicked me out. They never threw me to the streets or anything like that. They were really supportive. They helped me get my education. And I know that not everyone is blessed with that, but let me tell you, like, through God, anything is possible. Like, I'm so thankful for the people that God has put in my life so that I'm able to be where I am today. My sister, she let us live in her dorm room for 6 months and let me and my son sleep in her bed while she slept on the couch so that I could finish school. And I'm so grateful for my family and all the opportunities that God has given me and allowed me to have. And I'm grateful for my husband, who's always been supportive, and for my son, my oldest, Noah, who's been there for me since the very beginning. We've been there for each other. And so I just want you to be encouraged that life's not over. If you're facing a teen pregnancy, God can still use you. He wants to use you. He wants to use your story. And I just wanted to say that education is really important, and so is providing for your children. And I wouldn't have been able to do it if it wasn't for all the support that I've had. But if you set your mind to something, you can do it. Like, the time is passing by anyways. That's what I always told myself. Like, people would tell me, like, oh, well, just wait till he goes to kindergarten, and then and then you can go back to school. I didn't want to do that because 5 years would have passed. I could have had my degree by then, and I did have my degree by then because I knew that the time was passing by anyways, and there wasn't a moment to waste. I could spend that short amount of time, that 5 years when he was really young, we could spend it struggling and on food stamps, and my husband working overtime really hard, and me going to school full-time and working full-time. I did both. I worked full-time, like 36 hours a week, and I went to school full-time, 12 to 16 credits per semester, because I knew if we struggled then, we wouldn't struggle for the rest of our life. And I decided to do that instead of just, I could have just worked a lot and made the money then, even though it wasn't a lot, but, I would have felt like I would have been stuck in that pattern. And, you don't need to be stuck. You don't need to be stuck. Just keep making little baby steps forward and baby steps forward and baby steps forward. And then soon you're going to look back and see that how far you've come, and you've come miles. And all it took was one decision after another, and just keep going. Just don't give up. Keep going. Keep going to school. Keep working for those promotions. Keep raising godly children. Keep investing into their lives and spending time with them. And yeah, unfortunately, you know, you don't get to, you know, when you're a teenager, party and do all that because you have a kid. But let me tell you something, you don't need to do all that, okay? If you have your priorities straight, then you don't even want to do that. Like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So anyways, I hope my story can be encouraging to you guys. If any of you are teen moms out there, or teen dads, or teen parents, that you can make it, and that, you know, the time you're gonna blink your eyes and your kids are gonna be 8 years old, going into the 3rd grade. That's what I have right now, and you're gonna see how far you've come. And it, you know, I'm proud of myself because I worked really hard to get to where I am today, and I'm just thankful to God that He's given me every opportunity to be able to do that. So I hope my story was inspiring and encouraging for you guys. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them down below. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you subscribe to my channel for more videos.